Nira, Call of the Wild, Chapter 2, Orange Sands Town. Cyras entered the edge of the forest while having curved away from any path smelling of Rivo, as she hadn't wanted to encounter the protective, stern vixen. She trampled across some daisies as she came to a clearing, but kept her figure low. Sniffing the wild grass, she ascertained where Lilu and Amon's scents were. No one was present, nor were they standing upon the hills overlooking the plains. Stalking, Cyras lurched onto a log only to see several rectangular drawings. One depicted a being made of igneous rocks, with veins of lava. The giant lizard wielded a ferocious expression, which attracted Cyras as she read the writing. Lava Worm. Ability. At the end of each turn, both players lose 5,000 SP. As she picked up the picture, she found several more stacked beneath. Cyras' brow furrowed as she fanned out the cards. Were these images drawings of ancient heroes? Or villains? There are various symbols, but nothing with SP. Wanting to collect these drawings, Cyras snuck around until she found a sufficient holder. A pink pouch. Life seemed pretty easy as she held the bag around her neck. The fox resumed sniffing the fields until she saw structures over the horizon. At first she thought they were weird rocks until she came closer and saw planks formed to these boxes. Actually, they smelled like wood somewhat. Wood and something flowery sweet. But this scent must come from a flaky substance that was tearing away. The sheen covering the boxes provided the smell then. However, there was a more transparent material, almost like ice. She hopped onto a small platform and sniffed this material only to see some wolves. And one wolf stared out at her, growling. She gasped and scurried away. This place must be that wolf's territory. She ran down a path of dirt and bumped into a tall lizard monster. "Greetings!" the monster said, but Cyras jumped away. The purple lizard held their arms up, but Cyras kept running. While she wanted to ask her questions about the cards, she figured she'd be safer with Lilu. Just follow the scent to Lilu. Lilu must have known where the food was. However, more and more beings wandered the streets. None argued over their own land, so they all must belong to a pack. To avoid their sight, Cyras clung to the structures. Anytime no one was looking, she burst forward into another alleyway. She lost her breath and fell in front of a larger white building. "Are you okay?" Cyras jumped back to see a brown fox wolf. The fox wolf stepped back from her reaction, but she brought her nose to Cyras's. Was she retaste from the territory? No, the fox wolf was calm, courteous, and kind. But maybe that was a ruse? To be honest, she was kind of cute. A little tuft of fur over her face like a deer's tail, kind of like Almond had. Cyras's nose twitched. Speaking of that, the koi wolf's scent was pretty strong. Not really. I'm lost, Cyras admitted. "Come into my shop," she said with a nod. "We'll help you out." Cyras perked up, and she followed her into the shop. The fox wolf's slender, long legs seemed stilt-like as she advanced into the internals. She heard a ding and stared at the source, a yellow piece of metal. Her gaze revolved around the area. Rocks made the floor. Rocks made some platforms. Rocks rendered the backsides of a familiar hyena and koi wolf. The fox wolf went into the back of the shop and shouted, "Almond, take care of our guest. She's lost and new." Almond and Lilu stared at Cyras, tilting their heads. Cyras lay down in a loaf-like position as she covered her face with her brush. Almond jumped onto the floor, her claws ticking before she went up to Cyras. She sniffed Cyras several times, her cold nose tickling. "Is that really you, Cyra?" "Cyras," she corrected and ventured her nose to sniff at Almond's neck. She wasn't going to sniff lips and she wasn't comfortable enough with Almond yet. Lilu narrowed her eyes. Are you here to finish the job? Kira shook her head and said, I'm trying to learn about society and eat bread, and anything else. She hopped onto the platform Lilu was on, causing Lilu to scoot away. So, where is this bread? I'd have to go hunting. She saw more drawings on the table like she saw. Great. This will add to my collections. As Cyras went to take the cards, Lilu scooped them. When Lilu glared, Cyras sank back. Maybe those were hers? These are our tower's cards. Lilu told her and pushed on her shoulder so she'd take a step away. Anyway, why'd you come here of all places? I followed your sense, Cyras said. Since after all, I'm sure we've squashed all our problems. Lilu shouted, You're the one who attacked us, and you're the one who ended my runaway into the wilds. Cyras said, Only in the territory. Rivo ended the rest. Lilu patted at her. Well, I suppose there's some use for you. The foxwolf walks back in. Alright, dear. Where do you live so we can contact your parents? Cyras said, Oh, I'm from Sandrun, right? Moser, she lives in Sandrun. Almond asked, winking. Cyras understood immediately. Yes, Cyras nodded. I'm in the territory over from Lilu. Moser raised a brow. Territory? Lilu shook her head at Almond as Almond dug further into the trench of lies. She comes from somewhere else. She moved last week, so, she says some weird things sometimes. Cyras nodded again. Yes. I'll walk her home later, Lilu said, faking a smile. Moser grinned at Cyras. Well, how about I get you some ice cream for free? What flavor would you like? Cyras said, how about bread ice cream? Well, I've never heard of that. But we have strawberry? Moser smiled, making Cyras blush. Yeah, strawberry's good, Cyras said, and stared at Aunt for assurance. The koi wolf shrugged at her. Though, please know that Aunt is still in trouble for the stunt she pulled yesterday. Aunt puffed her cheeks. Though, I'm sure you weren't there. It was just these two and some foxes. Moser pressed her paws against Aunt's cheeks and squeezed the air out. Lilu burst into laughter as Almond deflated, while Cyras giggled. So, Moser said, she won't be able to leave. Moser walked away again. Why can't she leave? Cyras asked the mopey koi wolf. Because I'm grounded. For running away. You look pretty good. For someone who's been made into a fine substance. No, Almond said with a sigh. I'm basically not allowed to leave or do anything fun, so Lilu has to come here to play towers with me. We all get punished from time to time, Cyras said. But that's how stuff works. And if you're good, you get rewarded. And this equals out. This is known as karma, Lilu said. Karma doesn't always work, Cyras. You don't always get rewarded. Sometimes you do good things and you get punished. Cyras said, You did something wrong, though. The hyena snorted and put her snout in the air. So, you're saying no one's ever done something right and gone punished? Cyras said, Don't get me wrong, sometimes bad things happen to people for no good reason. That's just a task for an adventure. It'll get affected eventually by something negative, because energy is out there. But we need to exude better karma to make sure that happens less, and that's how good karma spreads. You deserve karma, you spread karma. Lilu rolled her eyes. You think we're just here to spread karma? Maybe. Karma's just energy. You need to make bad karma into good karma. So you have all the answers, don't you? She looked over to Almond and said, She has all the answers. She's been everywhere. Lilu brought out his second deck, which she slid over. How about you have a game? This is the ultimate denial of karma. Luck. Where bad things happen, okay? In card games, bad things happen for no real reason and things are out of your control. So we're going to play this game and you're about to learn just how unfair life can be. Cyras grimaced as they went over the rules. The explanation was long-winded and Cyras zoned out repeatedly. Not as she didn't get interested in the ideas of the game, but as Lily talked, she found herself thinking about something else. It seemed actually weird that Lily was offering to play a game with her until Cyras figured out the conditions. This was a competition, a fight with cards, and Lily sought to dominate her. This ignited the fervor in Cyras as she began the game. Okay, so first, I try to get Tower, Cyras said as she stared at her opening hand. So, I put down this card known as Burning Tower, and I get 6 fire towers to my repertoire? Yeah, Lily said, though that's not called a repertoire, that's just your tower. Cyras nodded and put down 6 glass pieces that represent a tower. Since I have 6 tower, I can trade that in to play this card known as Salamander, right? Yeah, Lily said. You only have to trade 3 fire tower. Are you going to put them up front or in back? Cyras thought about her options. Putting in front apparently meant the fighter was vulnerable to attack, but putting him back meant the fighter could not attack. She had 2 salamanders, so maybe a mix and match would work. I'll put this one in front and put a second one in back, so I have no fire tower left. I end, and both salamanders give me 1 fire tower, right? Yeah, and at the end of each turn, you gain tower from your cards. Lily drew her card, and I'm going to play Venom Tower, and I gained 6 tower. Next, I'm going to play Paralysis Panther with 5 tower. As she placed the card with a purple border, Cyras' eyes gleamed. That purple border is beautiful. Lily raised an eyebrow, unamused. And I love that bright purple fur, Cyras said, hoping to gain her favor. Right. So I'm going to use Paralysis Panther to attack your Salamander. Salamander inflicts 3,000 damage to both of us, but Panther deals double damage on attacks. Since Panther had 5,000 strength and Salamander had 2,000 shield, you take 6,000 damage total. Also, I play the Spellcraft card Reverser, so all damage I take is given to you instead. Now you take 9,000 damage total this turn, so 5,100 or 51,000 soul points. Good move, Cyras said. Lily shrugged. She put down a card face down. I'm putting this in the instant slot. During your turn, as long as I reach the cost, I can play that card. Yeah, okay.